Welcome to the AFR Saints channel, where we provide you daily content on your favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to leave your comments below and smash that like button. Who dat? So the Saints and Cesar Ruiz agreed to a 4-year contract extension. It's a 4-year, $44 million deal. It's $30 million guaranteed. The Saints did not pick up Cesar Ruiz's 5th-year option in the spring. So for those that aren't familiar with how it works, if you're a first-round draft pick, you get a 4-year contract guaranteed and then a team option for the 5th year. And the 5th year works kind of like a franchise tag, not exactly, but it's sort of an average of the salaries at that position. And then there's other incentives, like if you've made All-Pro once or twice, or if you've hit certain standards, then it escalates. But in any event, Cesar Ruiz, the Saints passed on his 5th-year option because there was just no reason to guarantee him that amount of money in his 5th NFL year. So instead, what you do is you say, okay, well, we're not going to pay you whatever that number would be. We're going to sign you to a more palatable extension. So I feel very similar about this deal that I did when the Saints signed and extended Andrus Peat. And there were a lot of people upset about that because Pete had, look, you drafted him in the middle of round 1. You expected him to be a tackle. It didn't work out. You moved him to guard. He had injury issues. All that is very, very true. The other thing, though, that I think we learned from the Andrus Peat contract, at least that I did, was it's an undeniable fact. Not every player on every roster is going to be all-pro. It's just the nature of it. So can you find spots where you're willing to invest your money into players that are that caliber? And in other spots, can you find good starters in the NFL? And I think that's what the Saints have done here with Cesar Ruiz. So his average annual salary is $11 million, thereabouts. That makes him the 6th highest paid right guard in the NFL. So Chris Lindstrom makes $20 million a year, 20.5. Zach Martin is second at 18.4. Brandon Scherf is third at 16.5. Wyatt Teller of the Browns is fourth. And then Shaq Mason at 11.6 is fifth. So Cesar Ruiz's deal makes him the 6th highest paid right guard on average annual value, ahead of Nate Davis, James Daniels, Alex Kappa. It works. It works for a starting player in the NFL. Is he the best offensive guard in the NFL? No. But the best ability is availability, and Cesar Ruiz has been steady on an offensive line that has been injury prone. In 2021, Cesar Ruiz played every snap of that season, played every offensive snap of that year, where the other 4 starters that year all missed games. He has been consistently available. He's also a guy that was drafted to be a center and had to change positions to guard because McCoy was drafted a year before him after Max Unger retired. You needed a starting center. Ruiz would be a better center than he is a guard, but he also has value because if there is an injury to McCoy, you can slide him in and play center because he is a versatile guy that can move around on your line and play center and guard if you need him to. Now, look, his Pro Football Focus grade a year ago is a 56.6. That's not great. But he only had 3 penalties all year last year, 3 all year, and only allowed 3 sacks all year. So while he's not an all-pro, he is a very good starting offensive lineman in the NFL. So unless you're going to go pay an all-pro offensive guard, stick with your guy. I'll remind you, rarely do the Saints ever sign elite offensive linemen in free agency. Look at the best offensive linemen the Saints have had. Teron Armstead, Jari Evans, Carl Nix, Ryan Ramczyk, Eric McCoy. You drafted all of them. You drafted Ruiz. You drafted Pete. You drafted all your starters. The rare exception is Max Unger. You traded for him. The last really sort of, air quotes, big name offensive lineman the Saints signed in free agency was Larry Warford. And he ended up bottoming out, and you ended up cutting him and you're drafting Cesar Ruiz, oddly enough, because you knew that Warford was going to be a cap casualty. You were going to cut him. You're going to need a starting offensive lineman, which is why you drafted Ruiz. People here melted because Patrick Queen was on the board and you felt they needed a linebacker. Well, little did you know, they were about to cut Larry Warford and they needed an offensive lineman. So, listen, I'm not sitting here like, I'm not beating the drum telling you Cesar Ruiz has been an awesome player. What I'm telling you is he's a good starting player in the NFL. And you're not going to have 22 All-Pros on your roster. So pick the spots where you are going to invest big money into players that are going to have a huge effect. And then find really good starting caliber players at the other spots. And I think that's what they're doing here with the Cesar Ruiz deal. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact. And be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.